All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I am istherenoonelse, and in today's video, we are going to cover the 8.2.2 patch notes. They're not very long. They don't last. This isn't going to be a long video. Like some of you, maybe your wives complained about duration as well. Hopefully there's no complaints here, but we're just going to make this short and sweet. Sometimes you just need a quickie. And so we're going to dive into this, and we're going to talk about the patch notes, and we're going to talk about the PTS. And I wanted to let you guys know that I have not done any patch note reviews of the sets and everything. Some of them were not working during week 1. Week 2, I just didn't get any people to hop on, but week 3, regardless of what happens, these are typically the more finalized set changes. I will start covering some of the sets that I find interesting, talking about them, showing you guys the animations, showing you guys my overall thoughts. So those will be coming out this week for those of you guys that are interested. Yeah. And with that being said, let's dive into these patch notes. Combat and gameplay. It's a known issue. This ability and morphs can have a delay between their impact and damage when not animation canceled. All right. Art and animation, crafting and economy, quests and zones, antiquities, quests and zones, tales of tribute, combat and abilities. Fix an issue where bashing could clear your heavy attack inputs. Interesting. I wonder if that's the issue that I've been having. Warden, Animal Companion, Advanced Species. Increase the critical damage bonus of this passive to 2 to 4% per ability slotted, up from 1 to 3%. We've reworked the Glacial Presence offensive bonus of critical damage and decided to bring a portion of it into this passive to make up for some of that potential loss. This should help retain relative critical damage potential while making the class less restricted with a capped stat. Okay, so more crit damage with the Advanced Species passive is the main point here. What is it, 3% more? Or 2 to 4% per ability slotted, so 1% more per ability slotted. And I think most Wardens have, what, 3? Typically 3 for Advanced Species, I think. Maybe 4. Winter's Embrace, Glacial Presence. This passive now increases the damage done by your chilled status effect based on a value determined by your highest offensive stats, rather than adding 10% critical damage and healing to recently chilled targets. Let me say this again. This passive now increases the damage done by your chilled status effect based on a value. Oh, wow. Okay, so it's just providing value to the chilled status effect instead of 10% more critical damage. Didn't feel right having 2 passives that essentially did the same thing between this and Advanced Species. Sure. As such, we're making Glacial Presence grant a bonus damage modifier that scales with your offensive stats. This way we don't need to worry too much about tankier builds getting a lot of power out of this passive while helping the generic damage of the class go up when utilizing their toolkit and utilizing their kit and rewarding them even more if they're focused on frost damage as a whole. We're not too concerned about the potential critical healing lost here either, since the requirement of an ally recently being chilled was only applicable in PvP, where Warden healers specifically will be losing this small bit of power. Okay. We'll have to look at this on the PTS. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of excited on having more 10% critical damage done, but it makes sense. I mean, that was stacking a bunch. So yeah. Piercing Cold, increase the damage done bonus of this passive to 6 and 12% with an Ice Staff equipped, up from 5 and 10%. Rather than increasing the generic damage bonus of this passive, we're relying on Glacial Presence's new effect to help baseline Warden experience, then sweetening the deal slightly for those extra frosty builds out there. Okay. So yeah, so I was talking in the Discord about this, and a good point was brought up that they're essentially trying to bring the Frost Staff a little bit more in line damage-wise with like Fire Staff and Dual Wield, and so it makes some sense that they increase the damage on this. The benefit of running a Frost Staff is that you have the tanky aspect. You're able to block and mitigate more damage with a Frost Staff than you are with Dual Wield or Inferno, and this is now an option. And so I have been playing this game for quite a while, and there have been classes that have been able to, essentially permablock and run double sword and board like old school mag DKs, and it hasn't happened in a while. There hasn't been too many full-on like block building builds that have existed out there, or those types of builds. This will this provides that sort of potential, like giving you the similar-ish to similar offensive capabilities of other good weapons means that you can now choose which passives you want. Do you want the more damage dealing passives, or do you want the more tanky passives with solid damage? And so it still gives you alternatives here. And I think, you know, when we discuss, it's my opinion from the forums, posts that I've seen, from the discussions that I've seen, that the benefits of the Frost Staff are a little bit understated. Like, people want to compare damage of Frost Staff to other things, but it's not just that. There's other bonuses to running a Frost Staff. And so trying to look at everything as a whole is going to be something that I'll be, you know, looking at and talking about more this week. But very, very interesting changes, I think. I talked about it in the first patch notes. I'm not a huge fan of, you know, Wardens. So I'm not going to dive into the same rabbit hole I did a couple weeks ago because we've already talked about it. But this kind of reminds me of what ZeniMax did with pet sorks. You know, at one point in time there were pet sorks and there were shield stacking sorks. And the more preferred way to play was shield stacking sorks because, frankly, like, you didn't have to fit one bird on both bars, and so you had more offensive skills. You didn't have to worry about it dying. You didn't have to reactivate it with a channel. Like Ward Sork was just more fun than Pet Sork. And so for patches for like what seemed like a year, I don't remember how long it was. It was a little while ago. This was pre-kids, so like this is the before times for me. They kept buffing Pet Sork. Like, just non-stop buffing Pet Sork. They kept buffing the damage, they kept buffing the heals, and then it was just like, after a while there were so many buffs that happened, and I, you know, if you dueled Pet Sorks before all these buffs, it was annoying to deal with because of targeting issues. You know, Pet Sork was already a strong class, but people weren't running it. And a lot of ZeniMax's analysis is based off of sets and skills and stuff that people use. Their belief, to me, from the outside looking in, is their analysis is based off of the popularity instead of the actual, like, strength. But the class was, or the build was always strong. It just wasn't really used much because it wasn't the preferred way to play. And it was only until it became so much stronger than the alternatives that everybody started running Pet Sork. And I don't like that sort of pigeonholing. I'm not a huge fan of it myself. You know, like basically fitting everybody into the same cookie cutter style playstyle, and that's my concern with having a Frost Staff on a Warden. I think it's cool that it's a viable playstyle. My biggest concern is that, you know, it could be very viable this patch. I'm already theory crafting builds for it myself. I'm kind of seeing how everything plays out. My only concern is that it becomes the only way to play, you know? And so that would be my concern. But honestly, at some point, buffs are better than no buffs. Wardens on the forums have been talking about wanting Frost Staff damage, and now you get to have 10%, 12% more damage with a Frost Staff equipped. And so your Frost abilities will do, you know, more considerable damage now. So I see it both ways. You know, I see the pros. I am excited to attempt Magden during the PTS, see if I can find a good build. I have some fun ideas, and I'm excited to see if I'm right. And at the same time, like, I would like to see some of these classes get their toolkits filled out. And let me know. Like, I know we're branching off on a tangent here, but I've been thinking about doing this video, and I wanted to get your guys' thoughts about talking about specific classes and how we could fill out their toolkit. Because some classes are strong, but they're very, like, cookie cutter. Like, you can only fit a few specific skills, and it's nice having options and alternatives. Like, all sets, in an ideal world, all skills would be viable in each class line. As silly as, like, as ridiculous as that sounds, I know. And they would fit more in with playstyles, and it would allow people to pick and choose alternatives. And that's when classes get fun, is when so many skills are useful. It doesn't make the ceiling of the class any better. It just allows you to be more versatile. And I think that's great. And so I've thought about doing a video talking about some classes' lack of versatility. For example, Necromancer's offensive skills and offensive utility kit is lacking pretty tremendously. And although their defensive kit is good and their support skills are good and their ultimates are solid, their offensive kit is very, very lacking, especially relative to the other classes. And so I thought maybe that'd be a fun video to talk about as an example. So let me know if you're interested in something like that. I could definitely do that. Maybe I'll pull in experts for other classes and have a discussion with them and what they think. But yeah, let me know. Let's dive into the next part. Destruction, weakness, and elements. Increase the duration of this morph to 30 seconds at its final rank, up from 20. Elemental Drain, this morph now increases duration to 60 seconds at its final rank, up from 23. Wow. Holy crap. You almost never have to cast Ellie Drain now. Okay. But the thing is, I already saw this earlier. You probably won't be running Elemental Drain because of elemental susceptibility. This morph now applies each element status effect, burning, chilled, and concussed every 6 seconds, rather than applying a random of the 3 every 6 seconds. This morph no longer gains extended duration and now lasts 30 seconds, down from 60. Fixed an issue where the status effects from this ability could fail to apply, increase the range to 35 meters at rank, up from 33 meters. We're moving around some of the morph diversity here to reinforce use case and define the power of each. Since Elemental Drain focuses on being more of a pure debuff, the duration extension feels more appropriate here, while Elemental Susceptibility reinforces the offensive bonuses we added a few patches back. Burning, chilled, and concussed every 6 seconds is wild. Like that's really strong. That's really strong, and yeah, I don't really have to say much further. Like burning, chilled, and concussed. There's some interesting options here, and there's some interesting ideas, and we'll have to test that on the PTS. But this is a pretty substantial change, especially when it comes to PvP worth talking about. So yeah, I know a lot of people are running dual wield, and frost staff or dual wield resto. This is the type of buff that makes you consider running a staff, because if you're not, it makes you consider running a staff, because burning, chilled, and concussed is extremely powerful. Like that's every 6 seconds too. Like that every 6 seconds. My goodness. Yeah. Itemization item sets. Mythic items, Fawn's Lark Cladding, fixed an issue where the tooltip text for healing of this set was not properly scaling with effective healing bonuses. Searbane's Ward, fixed an issue where you could not mount while the set was equipped. Well, that's problematic. Alliance War in PvP, fixed an issue where random battleground queuing was enabled for characters below level 50 characters during a battleground weekend. Art and animation, events and celebration, housing. Guys, I'm just getting into housing now, and so I don't want to... I'm not an expert on this. We're not going to talk about it too much more. I did do a video on a housing tour as a joke. If you guys actually enjoyed that video, let me know, and maybe I can, actually reach out in the community and get more people to show houses, and we can do tours, and we can, do goofy videos. Because frankly, like I said in previous videos, I want to do more community-based things, and a lot of people care about their houses. And housing is a part of ESO, and it'd be fun to highlight some of your guys' creativity. So I know PvP is really down bad. No, not really. I just had a lot of fun doing it. I had a lot of fun going through the house and pretending to role play as like a YouTube house shower, and so now I could be like an ESO YouTube house shower. And so let me fulfill my dream, guys. Okay, let me know if you liked it, and we'll keep improving on that as well. Miscellaneous UI. That's it, guys. Big thing from this one: elemental susceptibility. Holy shit! That's what I got to say. Warden tweaks. A lot of stuff going on here from the first week. We'll have to go back and look at it all as a whole. Had to put some stuff together on the PTS. Have to do some comparisons. Overall, still excited to do more Magicka-based Warden PvP next patch, and I'll share my ideas when I get them or when I finalize them a bit more. I don't want to give you guys false hopes, but on paper, I'm kind of excited to play like a more... It's going to be a hybrid, obviously, but because most things are hybrid, but a more Magicka-based Warden seems like a lot of fun. So yeah, we'll see though. I could eat my words, but that's going to be the end of this video. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Please provide them in the section below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you like this video and you liked my voice for whatever reason, maybe subscribe and catch the next one. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys later, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care, guys. Have a nice day.